So to go with the taco theme,
Yes.
Jonathan, on Reddit there is a debate that the taco sauce that you can buy at the grocery store did not taste anything like the packet.
Oh.
But there are some people who do say the packets resemble the taco sauce in the bottle. So what I have here is our A and B tacos. One of them has the bottled Diablo. One of them is the packet.
Oh,
so I'm going to see if you can tell the difference.
All right.
Between, I did safety first, washed my hands, didn't touch the tacos.
It's okay.
Same amount, and then we'll get to that if we want, but we'll see what.
All right. I mean, the hot sauce packet is a big debate in my house because I love these things, and every time we go to Taco Bell, I'll get a bunch of them.
Stock up.
Yeah, and I'm stocked, and my wife will go through the drive-thru, and she's like, "Why are you getting more? You have so many." The guy's like, "Do you want sauce packets?" I'm like, "Yes." Sauce packets. And I do think maybe once she bought this. I'm like, it's not the same. You're supposed to be like ripping the thing
it off,
open.
have a pile of packets everywhere.
It wasn't the case.
It was the experience, but we're about to find out
let's see
on
the
the
case.
on the
And this is it on Reddit, are they specifically talking about the Diablo sauce?
They're talking about the three. I think there's the three of them, but the Diablo is the biggest one. I think people are really passionate about the Diablo sauce.
Diablo
Kind
sauce.
of surprised.
I don't eat too much of the Diablo because it's really spicy.
Really?
Well, it's
I
supposed
put
to
a
be.
little bit on there.
Supposed to be. All right, here we go.
I love that the base is the Taco Bell taco as just the base of how you.
Just falls off.
Yeah, but I'm just saying our experiment is not just tasting the sauce; it's that he's tasting it on the taco.
Yeah. You
Right?
can't just
taste test
taste
it.
the sauce. You gotta.
And is it really spicy, the Diablo?
It's not terrible.
All right, so there was A.
All right, that
That's
was
A.
it.
I would bet you can't tell the difference.
If we can't, that might be a good thing.
Yeah.
Right.
To be able to just buy a bottle. What are we leaning
They're
towards?
very similar.
Okay.
But you can taste a little bit of a difference.
I can taste a little bit of a difference. I like the taste of B better. And because I am partial to the packet, I think B is the packet and A is the bottle. Do we have an identifier?
B is the bottle.
B is the bottle.
Yes! Yes!
No!
I gotta
Dude.
tell Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah.
John to be like, well.
All right.
I would have told Bethany to have that reaction anyway,
Yeah.
because that was so good. But yeah.
All right. Okay. So
All
I
right.
guess you can pick up a bottle in the store.
I guess so. No, don't tell my wife that.
I'm about to eat Via Taco's lengua, which is cow's tongue. And I'm thinking I'm going to go... salsa makes a difference, right?
A big difference.
It's like, which salsa? So on carne asada, do you put a red sauce, and then on chicken and carnitas, do you
Green.
do green?
Yeah.
That's what I do. With lengua, I'm going to go red
Okay.
to start. There was a scene in a TV show back in the 80s, and he was going to have tongue. He said, "No, I'm not going to taste anything that can taste me." All right, here we go.
So is Bell's
pretty
name
awesome.
Taco Bell?
So when we got Belle, her full government name is Liberty Bell.
Okay.
But then I actually think it might have been Drew, believe it or not, when she first came here. It was either Drew or Max. We were talking, and somehow Taco Bell was formed, and I was like, "Oh, I really like that."
That works.
Yeah. And so then when they come, they always call her Taco Bell. Now I'm like, I like Taco Bell. Taco Bell was very comforting to me because as a kid growing up in the 90s with two immigrant parents, one of which is a strict vegetarian, Taco Bell was the only thing that was like my only fast food.
Really?
Because we couldn't eat McDonald's, couldn't eat Burger King.
So you would get just like the beans.
Bean burrito, you could get a bean tostada or something.
You need to get a Chihuahua for a Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Remember
Speaking of
the
Taco Bell?
Bell Chihuahua?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the mascot.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yeah. Taco Bell.
I'm a bit of like a Taco Bell novice. I've only had it a couple times in my life.
Same.
I don't really know it very well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, what's going on over
That
here?
is
These
chorizo. It looks
Am I
like
jumping
chorizo.
ahead?
Please help
This
yourself.
one's Al Pastor.
Oh.
One of them is chorizo. One of them is. This one's chorizo. That one is carnitas.
How's your
We're
liver?
gonna just
Like
have to take
Papa.
your word for
Here
it.
we
The
have
Al
the
Pastor,
double.
There's only one left because I only got two, but it's really good.
That out of there.
All right.
So someone who has is it celiac disease.
Gluten intolerance.
Yeah, they watched the episode that
Oh.
featured kind of the conversation about gluten and spices with
Spices.
Alec
Yep.
from the lab, the New Wave.
Yep.
And they said they thought they were always safe with cumin, that would be a surefire spice
Yep.
that they could rely on without having to worry about gluten. So they said that episode was very helpful.
Yeah. It's probably one of the riskiest spices when it comes to gluten cross
Wow.
contamination.
Really?
Cumin and oregano. Reason being, both of those spices come out of Turkey. They can be grown in other regions as well, but most of them come out of Turkey. And in Turkey, the same conditions that you can use, that you need to grow cumin and oregano, are also used to grow wheat. So a lot of these farmers, right, you have different crop cycles throughout the year. And so a lot of farmers, cumin, if it only grows for 4 or 5 months, they're not just going to sit idle for another 8 months. So they will grow what's known as a rotation crop. And oftentimes that rotation crop is wheat. So they will grow wheat, but the problem comes in the harvesting and the processing. They will use the same bags, the same equipment to harvest the spices, so cumin and oregano, as they will on the wheat, and you would get this cross-contamination. And they're using the same equipment in their factories to process both packaging, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why it's really important that you have a secure supply chain, and at HQO we test. So we test that origin, we test when it arrives, and we test before it ships to make sure that we have gluten levels that are safe for people who are gluten sensitive.
So she could purchase this spice, the taco spice,
Yeah.
from Amazon, right? 'Cause I think it's on Amazon
From
now.
Amazon,
and not
yeah.
to worry about her celiac disease.
Exactly.
For just having tacos.
Yeah.
But if you buy cumin and it doesn't say gluten free, then you can't assume that it's gluten free.
You can't assume that
Can't assume.
because it could be unintentionally
Or like a blend like this.
correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is anyone actually using the bottled over the packets, or no, packet purist?
Well, it's kind of it's a little bit of a
It's
bigger
easier.
commitment.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Right.
open the bottle.
Is there any green sauce over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Do you?
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Take that.
Okay, so everybody's favorite so far. What if?
So if you just going back to the gluten conversation,
Okay,
quick.
yeah, keep going.
there's one final comment I want to make. So if you look at these packets that we have here, nobody is saying they're gluten free with the exception of Siete.
Oh.
So Siete, if you look here in the corner, it says gluten free. So these guys have really stepped it up and are saying, hey, we're only sourcing spices that have been tested and are now this is actually certified gluten free. This is an actual certification that these guys obtained.
And Siete is a little bit feels like the trendiest one.
Definitely. I mean, just you can tell by the packaging.
Yeah.
Siete is owned by Pepsi, so
Oh, is it?
yeah.
So if it's organic, doesn't necessarily mean it's gluten free.
No.
Really?
We see the same problem in the organic industry.
So this is gluten free but not organic. Or is
Correct. It's gluten free but not
it?
organic
And non-GMO but not organic.
and non-GMO
But then yours is organic and gluten free.
and gluten free. Yeah. So the one on HQO Express, which is on Amazon, is gluten free and organic.
And you'd think that it would be such a small amount that they're like of the overall meal, but I guess if you're really sensitive to it.
It probably adds up over
That's
time
curry
too.
dust.
If you're using a lot of
That's
spices, you think you're
chorizo,
safe,
And that's
Yeah.
al dente.
and you
Yeah.
kind of wonder why am I still feeling this way?
Right.
I'm gonna try soft taco from Taco Bell.
Yeah.
that's
Oh.
my jam.
I'm not a big hard shell guy. I
Did they
never
char the
have been.
tortilla?
And that was as a white people taco eater growing up.
Yes.
Wait,
I never liked them. I do have to say this soft shell from Taco Bell is so good.
Pretty good, right? It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's awesome. I never had chorizo before moving to LA. Like I learned what chorizo
Same.
was
Yeah. Me
when
both,
I went to I was working for this dude in the valley, and he was like, "Let's go to breakfast tacos," and then they had chorizo. I was like, "They're the best." I mean, it's good, but sometimes it can be a
Mixed
little
with
much.
eggs.
Sometimes it can be
It's very,
super greasy.
Very greasy. Yeah, very greasy. Mixed with eggs. Oh, that's the
Yeah.
best.
Oh,
yeah,
that's-
And
that's
some
good.
refried beans
Yeah.
Yeah.
with some cotija cheese.
Yeah.
So my
Yes.
dad is Hispanic, and so growing up, that was our weekend breakfast was chorizo. So I was having that at like 5 years old.
Okay.
And then my friend would come over to spend the night, Katie, and she was all white girl. And she had never had it before, and she thought it was delicious. And she went home and told her parents I had chorizo, and they're like, "What?" Because they like, you know what's in that? And I didn't know that it was a problem. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And they were freaking out because she had never eaten it before, and she loved it, and so she would always look forward to coming over, and my dad would just fry it up and have it ready.
What's wrong with what's in it?
Guys, I
Just
found
sausage.
more tacos.
What?
Oh, good.
More tacos.
There you go.
Is it not sausage? Or is it? It's like kind of like.
There was the belief
like
that
the
they
hot
put in
dog?
other parts
Like a
of
hot
the
dog kind of
yeah,
thing.
it kind of
Gotcha.
just made of too many components from.
It's like, yeah, you don't
animal.
want to know.
That's why it's so good, guys. That's why it's so good.
Yeah, it is really good.
But we're spoiled here in Southern California with our Mexican food.
Yeah.
You go anywhere else in the country and it's not nearly as good.
What was your favorite one, or did you do what else did we get? We got carnitas.
Carnitas was good.
I was gonna try the carnitas, maybe.
Yeah.
Try it.
It's over there.
Carnitas is good. Chorizo is always good.
I haven't had that one yet.
But Taco Bell is.
It's still your favorite.
That's where it's at. You know what I like about the burrito, like a breakfast burrito, is that it's a flour tortilla. I'm just a fan of the flour tortilla.
I am too. I have to say that is the corn tortilla or die is just to prove that you are a Angelina.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I agree that's what I mean. That home state shredded beef taco
with the
with
flour
on the
tortilla.
oh my god.
I think like there's place for both,
Yeah.
depending
Yeah.
on what
Definitely.
So I go to a home state. It's not the one. It's the one in Atwater. And
yeah.
I always get corn, but now I'm feeling like I should get flour.
Try flour.
Yeah.
Try flour.
For the Deshebrada one.
So a couple of years ago, we went to Tulum in Mexico. And prior to going on this trip, we were with several other families, and there was an episode of Top Chef, and it was featuring this lady chef. I want to say her name was Rosa, and she was like authentic, like native, like Yucatan, like person, and her whole thing was she wanted to preserve authentic Yucatan cooking, and she has this tiny little house kind of on a ranch out in the middle of the Yucatan Peninsula, and she turned it into this whole like culinary experience. So tourists were allowed to go, and she would like prepare a whole meal, and everything was made on her farm. And so we were like, we have to do this. So we booked this whole like meal excursion, and we drove out to the Yucatan Peninsula like an hour and a half in the middle of like cornfields, just nothing but corn. We drive there and we get to her house, and sure enough, it was like this working like farm. She had the cochinita, which means little pig. She had little pigs running around, and then
and all of a sudden one of them
was missing.
fewer pig.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Then you have the carnitas.
And then she showed us how to make like the sauce on what we would call like a mortar and pestle, but in Mexico they call it, what is it called? Mocajete.
I don't know.
Something.
Yeah, mocajete.
Yeah, mocajete. And like how to grind all the spices, and she's holding up the spices. She's like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "Oregano." And she was like, "Oh, okay."
Like, you can't play
She's
anymore.
like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Chipotle." She's like, "Oh." And then finally, by like the third one that I answered, she's like, "How do you know these?" And my wife's like, "He works in the spice business. Okay, stop. You're ruining it for everybody." They don't use spice seasoning packets like this, right?
Right.
So they would grind it with the fresh chilies and add oil, and she would make a paste. And then the paste was then spread over the pork, and it was marinated. And then they would wrap the pork in banana leaves, much like a barbacoa, or in Hawaii, what is it called? Kalua pork. And they dig a hole, right, several feet deep, build a fire, have the coals in there, put some rocks on top, and then put the pork in there that's wrapped in like the banana leaves. And then cover it with earth, and it would cook overnight.
Oh yeah.
So then while we were there, she was like, "We started this yesterday for you guys." And then she unearthed everything. You pull it apart, and it's barbecue. It's like slow and tender and just falling apart. And then she had the kids make handmade tortillas. So she had the corn that they ground fresh, and then they would add it with the lard and make the masa. And then she showed the kids how to like press the tortillas flat. And then she had like a fire and a cast iron pan on top. And then the kids are making their own tortillas fresh. So we had the tortillas, and then you put it on, and then you just top it with the onions and cilantro. And I was like, that was
Authentic.
incredible authentic experience. We're sitting outside, and flies, and no air conditioning. We're in the tip of Mexico at the end of June, and it's like hot and humid.
Ugh.
It was fantastic.
I've heard that too, that authentic chefs or cooks, they don't label their spices because they don't need to.
You're right.
So I had a friend, he visited his grandmother's house for a couple of days and nothing was labeled because she didn't need to know what it was.
Yeah.
She already knew what it was.
Yeah.
He's trying to make scrambled eggs and he picks out what he thinks is black pepper, puts on a hearty dose, sits down to eat it, and it is not black pepper.
What was it?
It is cinnamon. But he said it wasn't half bad.
Yeah.
And that was just a learning experience to go, you know what, I wouldn't do this every day, but now I know cinnamon on eggs did not taste that bad.
But it's funny that they must have looked similar.
Yeah.
The
That's what I was wondering. Like, how did it? Was it that? Would they look that similar? A black pepper and the
Really
cinnamon?
finely ground black pepper, which is kind of the crappiest black pepper. So you'll see it like oftentimes in restaurants in the shakers. That I would think looks similar to a cinnamon in a jar. But cinnamon's going to be way finer than black pepper for the most part. I was thinking, I saw this TikTok video, I was thinking about you, where it was a restaurant, and they said all the black pepper in the restaurant in the grinders, so they had grinders on every table, they toasted. So, and it was an accident, they put whole peppercorns in the pan, which is very common with chefs, and they'll toast it, but it's only for a few minutes over like a high flame. You just toast it in the pan, you toss it. They had forgotten that it was there, and I think they had like toasted it, and then they put the pan in the oven, and they left it for like 30 minutes or an hour, and then they're like, oh no, the black pepper's ruined. They came back, they put it in the pepper grinder, like, it's phenomenal. So it was a happy accident, and they're
serendipity.
like, we do this on all of our black pepper, we put it in grinders, we put a grinder on every table.
Wow.
Because it really elevates the black pepper that much. I was like, I had no idea. I knew toasting spices woke them up, but I didn't know you could do it for 30 minutes in your oven.
Yeah.
That's why, like in the script, we're saying toast your cumin seeds. So you
Right.
get whole seeds, you toast them, then you put them in a spice grinder, and you grind them up.
I never use the packets.
What do you do? What
I
do you make
don't
tofu?
even think to look for them, but it makes your life easier. It's like I forget
Well, you know
to,
what? You can take a packet home. Today.
I forget to use blends also, believe it or not.
How do you season your food?
I mix it together. I go,
Oh.
it's like this much cumin, this much this, after that, and I'm like, why don't I get a blend? I only started getting blends like after knowing you,
Oh.
and I still forget.
That's okay. I mean, the way that you're doing it is the authentic way.
There's a surprise ingredient in this one.
Oh,
That's what it is.
Oranges.
MSG.
Ground dates.
That would be good.
No.
Oh,
Wait, what is it? Ground steak?
Dates?
Dates.
dates.
Oh, dates.
That's
Little
cool.
sweet.
There it is.
And then after that, tomatoes. The first ingredients are red chili pepper, sea salt, ground dates, tomatoes.
Is
Where are
tomato
they buying
powder
their
cheaper
tomato
than
powder
chili
from?
powder or paprika?
I'd say they're right around the same.
As paprika,
Oh.
so you could use tomato for color. Is there paprika in there too?
No paprika.
That's what they're
So they're
doing.
using
Oh,
tomato.
so
They got
tomatoes
a
just for color.
maybe they got a cheap deal on some tomato.
Garlic, nutritional yeast,
Mm.
jalapenos.
That's instead of
So
cornstarch.
nutritional yeast
No.
is that's your flavor enhancer.
Oh,
Yeah,
MSG-ish.
I've used that.
Yeah.
I had it. Yeah.
Huh.
I used that.
What would the first four OG blends be? Taco,
Curry,
curry,
Italian.
or it's Italian for like a salad dressing.
No.
I saw a lot of Italian in the.
It's a
grocery
blend.
store.
Yeah.
A blend, an
Yeah,
Italian
like-
blend for pasta and stuff.
Pasta.
Yeah.
Pasta sauce, meatballs,
Yeah. What's in that basil?
Mediterranean.
basil, oregano.
Oregano.
So you ever go to a pizza place and there'll be like oregano on
Mhm.
the shaker?
Yeah, yeah.
That's my favorite thing to add on to pizza is oregano.
Yeah, yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I do Italian seasoning. instead. So it's just a little bit more
That's what I'm
than
talking
oregano.
about.
Yeah,
Italian seasoning.
I know, but as opposed to just oregano,
But that's
I like both. But I'm saying Italian seasoning, I think, is oregano and a few other things. I'm guessing.
Yeah. There's usually a little bit of mushroom in there for a
Ooh.
little umami, salt,
Learn so much.
rosemary, basil, and oregano. Maybe some parsley.
That means
Okay.
pizza, the next family meal. I feel like that's where we're heading.
What was it?
Is that how we're building episodes now? We're starting with the family.
yeah. You
meal
gotta
and
start
going
with what you
backwards?
heard.
Absolutely.
Italian seasoning.